We trust glass to protect us. A locked window, a heavy glass door. We use them to carve out a pocket of safety against the night. But we tend to forget a crucial detail. Glass works both ways. It's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. A 23-year-old student is doing her laundry at a laundromat. It's a brightly lit box sitting completely alone in a dark, deserted American strip mall. The front door chimes, and a man walks in. He isn't carrying a laundry basket. He walks right past the humming washing machines, stops by the industrial sinks, and stands perfectly still, facing the large front window. He ignores the empty parking lot outside. Instead, he uses the window's dark reflection, like a mirror, to stare directly at the student behind him. She doesn't say a word. She quietly scoops her wet, heavy clothes back into her bag, throws it over her shoulder, and walks briskly toward the front door to avoid provoking him. She hits the glass door with her shoulder, but it doesn't budge. She pushes harder. Nothing. Through the glass, she sees a thick metal chain wrapped around the exterior handles. Someone else locked it from the outside. Behind her, the man by the sinks finally turns around. He drops his hands to his sides and sprints directly at her. She drops her bag, violently kicks out the side emergency exit, and throws herself into the dark alley just as he reaches the glass. The glass barrier now functioned as a transparent cage, proving our public sanctuaries are fragile illusions. When we leave a building, we usually seek safety in our vehicles. We lock the doors, leave the engine running, and immediately feel a sense of control against whatever is outside. Take a look at this landscape. This is the UK Peak District. During the day, its sweeping, remote valleys are stunning, but late at night, the area turns into a claustrophobic maze of dense, foggy, unlit country lanes and zero cell service. A driver is navigating a narrow, stone-walled road in the dead of night. As they round a curve, their headlights hit a blockade. An unlit car is parked diagonally across the lane, wedged perfectly between the stone walls. The driver stops. They sit there with the engine idling. For 5 agonizing minutes, nothing moves in the pitch black. Finally, the driver pulls the stock and flashes their high beams. The bright light cuts through the fog and illuminates a tall, motionless figure standing right at the edge of the woods. The person is holding a long, rusted tool down by their leg. The driver immediately slams the gear shift into reverse. But as the dashboard screen switches to the rearview camera, the red taillights illuminate a second person, standing inches away from the rear bumper. The second person slowly walks up to the driver's side window. They drag their fingers along the cold metal door, press their face directly against the glass, and silently mouth the words, "Unlock it." The driver mashes the accelerator, throwing the car off the road and into the ditch. The metal frame violently scrapes and sparks against the ancient stone wall, but the car tears past the blockade and escapes into the night. Locking your doors might keep someone from opening a handle, but that thin metal perimeter offers zero protection when the physical geography of the environment is being used as the trap itself. We flee the outdoors to seek refuge in our homes. We lock the deadbolts and turn on the alarms. But the ultimate terror occurs when the walls you rely on to keep the monsters out are the exact same walls trapping you inside with them. A young woman lives entirely alone in a second-story apartment. To get to her door, you need a key fob to enter the building and another key for the stairwell. For added peace of mind, she installed a smart doorbell camera. Everything feels secure until Tuesday. At exactly 3:15 a.m., her phone buzzes with a motion detection alert. She checks the app, but the live video feed just shows an empty, brightly lit hallway. This happens again on Wednesday and again on Thursday. On the 4th night, she stays awake holding her phone. At 3:15 a.m., the alert triggers. This is the image she saw on her screen, a grainy black and white feed showing a tall man in the hallway, staring dead into the lens. He doesn't jiggle the handle. He doesn't pull out a lockpick. He just stands there, perfectly motionless, his eyes locked on the tidy camera. Very slowly, the man reaches into his pocket. He pulls out a folded piece of printed paper, a photograph, and raises it up until it fills the camera's view. The young woman squints at her phone screen, trying to make out the dark shapes in the photo. Her stomach drops. It's a picture of her, fast asleep in her own bed. Look closely at the corner of this dark, grainy photograph. Superimposed over the image is a digital timestamp reading 3:10 a.m., exactly 5 minutes ago. The camera had recorded the man's exit. He had already been inside the apartment with her for the last 5 minutes. We build our routines around the assumption of safety. But the next time you lock your deadbolt for the night, remember that true horror is the realization that you can never truly be sure you are alone.